This was 1:30:25. We all have an idea. Ideas let us connect with other people. We have an influence coming from the mind of God to show us an event that we have never seen before. It's called the manifestations of life, energy. Energy is the influence of the mind into reality. It's creating movement in the things we do with each other. This allows us to see from other people's point of view. When we communicate with other people, this gets us to understand the truth, because in reality, the truth is a subjective thing, but it's also an objective thing. We have phenomenon that comes from the external reality that is giving us an idea. People use words to convey different levels of meaning to the individual. We use words as symbolic placeholders for objects in life, when in reality, there are no objects in life. Reality is more alive than what humans generally think. Even our shadow is alive. Everything in life goes to create what we see. And it all works together to produce a version of harmony that people can get behind. Life is a chaotic movement of understanding. The more you understand the why of it, the better you see through the chaos. We all have an experience coming from the world, and this is creating the way we feel, that we feel. We all pay attention to the external world, and this creates an influence or a set of subjective beliefs that coerce a state of mind. Any information we pay attention to, this is making us believe a certain version of reality that may or may not be true. In life, everyone wants your opinion. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want to tell you what to think so they can use you in their schemes of personal gain. Learn conscience or science so we see through their illusion of telling you what to believe. How do we make sense of the world? We use our five senses, the things we see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. These phenomena leave an impression in the mind called a memory. We use memory to represent the world to ourselves, symbolically, in the form of pictures or words or movements. In life, we learn about the aspect of creation. We learn about the qualities that we place on the world to give to meaning and form. Form is the creation of meaning. It is creating something from the source of nothing. Our reality is created by the things we see or perceive with our eyes. Really, to perceive means to take inside your being and make a creation of it in your internal. That's what creation truly is. It's understanding reality that we become one with it. When you become one with your reality, you understand it on some level of abstraction, related to what you know about life. Life is a concrete manifestation of energy, but also the illusion of materiality. We believe life to be a material substance, so we chase after material things, believing it to bring some type of fulfillment. But we get disappointed when we realize the things in life that we thought were fulfilling are not really the things that we thought would bring us pleasure. When we set on a road of self-discovery, we decided to do things that make us somewhat uncomfortable. And when we decide to be uncomfortable is when our reality starts to pay us back in the pursuit of our knowledge. Because in order to learn, you actually, in reality, have to try and become and do things different than you were before. And when you do things different than you were before, you start to learn what it means to be in life. Because we are actively learning about what it means to be a part of something greater outside of ourselves. So, to me, the idea is to focus on the universal Father God and the one universal Mother Goddess, Kundalini, unifying the masculine and the feminine energy within our own level of being. We have light coming from outer space. When we look into the sky, into the night sky, we see all the darkness before us, waiting as the door to the ideas we had thought of as before. When we start to see all the things we don't know of as before, when we open the doors When we open the doors to the store in our mind, we see everything peeking through the divine when we find ourselves outside of time. That is how we get to the rhymes. You just have to keep up with the spirit. Then you start to hear it. Up above the world so high, I have found my diamond in the sky. Of my heart, from the vault, the place of no fault. In life, we learn from those around us. We become we become an image of the people that come into our life. They help us see ourselves clearly. Everyone is not you. That's why you feel so blue. Focus on the health, and then you will find the wealth. To bring the objects together, have you heard you are my brother? Individually and collectively, we are all related to each other in one form or another. So to think that there are people who are more intelligent than you is kind of an arbitrary statement if we are learning from those around us. They are influencing you to believe in the things they believe in. And a lot of people are not looking at the world from a place of connection or love. They're looking at it from a place of control. And in reality, all the control you think you have is really in God's hands, or in other words, your own hands of creating art in the process of learning about yourself. I want to try automatic writing, so I start writing and I try to keep writing without thinking of the next word that comes out, and I just keep a flow of energy going into the keyboard. Focusing on the heartbeat is one way to do this because it gets you out of your head and more into the rhythm of the present moment with the feeling of your whole being. We can learn a lot of wisdom from listening to the body's internal wisdom by quieting down the critical voice in the head and just feeling and listening to the movements going on inside the body. When I focus on myself internally, it invites feelings of openness and expansiveness. It's called allowing yourself to just be who you are. And when you do that, you open the door to magnificent exploration, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can discover simple things in life, and this still invites wonder, like simply realizing that we value spending our time differently now. And that's a step in the right direction. I started to sit here and think about the things that I had just said, but I'm not supposed to be thinking. I'm supposed to just be typing and letting the rhythm of the beat guide me through this practice. When I see everything happening in the world, I am just a human being, but it makes me sad. But you can't be sad about the events that take place. You just have to focus on the positive moment when you see them or when you can. I feel like a lot of people focus in the negative areas of life, believing it to be bad or evil, and I don't believe it to be either one of those things. I think people are mistaken in what they think the pursuit of good is. But who am I to say, which is the funny thing about life. But I don't know. When you can feel the false ideation from someone that leads nowhere or to potential human destruction, is it the right idea? Probably not. So I feel like that's a reflection on my unconscious awareness at the moment. But I have also smoked weed, and that usually I feel lowers my feelings about myself because the experience I have had with weed. I kept getting in trouble at school growing up, and honestly, weed helped me not hate my life all the time. So it made me feel bad to get in trouble for it because I'm just like everyone else, but I like to get high a little. And a lot of people are still judgmental of that quality of life. And I get it, people have their preferences, but I still think that we should be accepting of each other and try to understand the point to each other's life. I mean, isn't that what life is all about, is understanding other people's point of view so it widens your own? I think that gaining people's insights to life can help you, but it's not your own life. So you have to do the work on discovering yourself and making life the best for yourself. And I don't know where, and if you don't know where to start, literally start with something you have been avoiding or something that you have always dreamed of doing. And if you don't have anything like that, dream bigger for your life because God will answer it. I've had so many experiences in my life where the spirit or God or the things that controls all my movement and my actions aligns me with people that I'm supposed to meet, and that's the cool thing about life is it's related in some relativistic way, in some relativistic aspect that helps us see the actuality of truth in the process of attaining information from the world. In the creation of life, we have an experience coming from the world. We have an objective world and a subjective world. We have information coming from the objective mind in the form of sensory experience, making an impression on the subjective mind. We use these impressions in the formation of a worldview, and we relate these impressions symbolically to the mind, and we give them meaning. We create the meaning coming into the mind by the way life is explained or represented to the mind. It's all about how you want to author your life and the story you create for yourself about your life. The power is always in your hands to change the way you think and what you believe to make life different. It just takes time to learn about different aspects of life and to engage with life purposefully. Again, with the automatic writing. I pray to my Father who is in heaven to guide my words to the correct manifestation of divine energy in Mother Devi Kundalini. May God make the words pure for the world, following the idealisms of the heart. What is the influence of love? It's the manifestation of doing the right thing. It's putting yourself on the line to help humanity see the truth of their being. In reality, we are all connected to the human soul through the trials and tribulations that come with being a human being. Growing up in a world that is unfamiliar, in reality, Jesus would want us to use the power of love to help other people that are in need. In reality, the ideas of Jesus are compassion and understanding for our fellow brothers who are in Christ Jesus, which in reality, if you are born into the world, you're already a son or daughter of God. And the whole idea that man has the power over woman is asinine, because what if the woman doesn't want to listen to a man make decisions for her? In reality, men have to accept the fact that women and really, in reality, all creatures make the decision for their life on their own. They decide when they need to change, but if reality is being taken away and people are okay with it, then how are we supposed to get them to realize that there needs to be change? I like traditional things too, but the abuse of women and the abuse of power is one tradition I feel we should give up. If we are honest, everyone has the power to change their lives and others through their actions and making people aware. In reality, life is about learning words and how those fit into the picture of it all. It's the study of literature. In reality, I haven't really been automatic writing. If I wouldn't be taking pauses in the things that I write, nor I feel I would go back and correct my writing. But if it is unintelligible, then how am I supposed to read it? In reality, we use inferencing skills to understand most things. We compare our life to other versions of life, and we think ours to be a lesser version, but what is lesser or greater but the matter of perspective within your own self? But that's not true either. It's about what is life, what is a perspective, what does it mean for the world, and how do people paint pictures? What's the purpose of that, and why are they trying to manipulate us? Again, it goes back to the power thing, and how they don't want you to learn, they don't want you to be educated, that way they can use reality against you. That's why it's important to learn, because if we aren't trying to learn the truth for ourselves, people can hijack reality all based off of what we believe. And it's sad how people think other people have no common sense, when in reality, we all do things that are a little out of sorts. So to condemn another person for being human is a funny pursuit of our power, and honestly, a tragic one for humanity's freedom. When we are raised in life, we are told by the people in authority to us the rules or circumstances of life. They inform us of their worldview of life, which conditions us to view life in a way that is out of our control. People tell us what they think of life, and this influences the mind to perceive or believe in a certain way. Life is the creation of love, and if we are focused on our principles, we are focused on love. Love is the principle for action. It's a motion that creates movement into reality. When we use the feeling of love to make movements in reality, that is how we can achieve. When we move with the spirit of love, we no longer have to run. We can walk and take our time to help our brothers in life. This is what makes us feel kind. And this is what makes us kind and feel some kind of right. Putting ourselves aside to put away the pride, to see through to the truth of life when the mind is clear from the drear. When I learn to call you my dear. When we breathe in, our energy contracts to focus on the body. We narrow our perspective in looking for predators. When we breathe out, the body starts to relax and ease the tension. Sitting focused on the breath, the body slows down. It allows us to open the awareness to discover the present moment. Feel how the face feels. Feel how the breath feels going in and out slowly. Do you feel the switch of energy when you breathe out and relax? We have to relax the mind and body. When we focus internally and we focus on the heartbeat, this connects us to other human beings. The heart is really the storehouse for the human. We live through our heart. It's the things we truly value and care about, which in reality, what is a value? And I don't mean in the sense of money. I mean character trait we value. I value honesty. I value truth. I value commitment. I value the human experience. Oh, I value persistence. I value love for existence. Realizing the unity of existence is one thing I value in the human experience. I used to think that everyone wanted that. In life, I suppose, we are foolish. Sometimes, but we learn as we go. And I feel that's the most true statement anyone can say. But it's not always true. Sometimes things don't click for people. And it's because we all have different backgrounds and understandings and ways of conceptualizing the world. So what is a concept? A concept is an abstract idea that serves as a foundation for more concrete principles, thoughts, and beliefs. So we may know the object of an apple. If you have never seen an apple, I'd start to describe it to you. And I started to describe it to you. Where it originates. It comes from a tree. It's red, somewhat round, makes sort of a crunching noise when you bite into it. It's juicy and sweet. If you have seen or heard of the qualities of an apple, you would most likely know I am describing an apple. Now, what if you had never heard or seen of the fruit apple, and it didn't click for you? Or if I showed you a picture of an apple, then it would make sense to you, because you could mentally represent the objective qualities of an apple to the picture apple from the perceived sight of an apple. So what is happiness? Happiness is learning how you relate to other individuals. It's learning how to be a part of the experience of life. It's understanding that life's satisfactions comes from standing up for the rights and freedoms of other individuals, making sure each person is allowed their own voice and expression of consciousness from a state of compassion and reverence for humanity. Happiness is really a subjective feeling that is related to the feeling of pleasure or joy. Happiness to me is to bring joy or pleasure to the world, or a sense of contentment.